Good evening. In this exuberant room, it is my pleasure to call the Thursday, January 19th, 2023 regular board meeting of the School District of Haverford Township to order. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now we'll have our district's mission and goals.
Sorry. The mission of the School District of Haverford Township is to educate and to inspire a community of lifelong learners who become well-rounded global citizens. The pillars of our educational system are: our school environment is safe and nurturing. Excellence in education is a shared responsibility in partnership with all district and community members. Whole child development is vital to our educational system. Supports and conditions exist whereby all students have opportunities to grow and excel in the areas of academic, technical and career, and social emotional learning. Our decision-making process is student-centered and student voice is valued.
Our 2020 to 2025 district goals are: social emotional wellness, produce a community of empathetic and resilient learners with skills to socially and emotionally flourish, prepare contemporary citizens, modernize and expand learning experiences to prepare students as critical thinkers, problem solvers, innovators, and designers within a complex global society, and diversity and inclusion. Establish a culturally diverse and inclusive educational experience that develops social cultural proficiency.
Thank you. Just a procedural point tonight: in the absence of Ms. Martha Q as our secretary and the assistant secretary, we appoint tonight Jen Saxa, our assistant superintendent, as acting secretary for just tonight's meeting only. And with that, Ms. Saxa, will you call the roll?
Sure, thank you, Ms. Wiedemann. Dr. Crispin?
Here.
Mr. Feinberg?
Here.
Dr. King?
Here.
Dr. Larson?
Here.
Dr. McKay? Mr. Schwartz?
Here.
Ms. Vitale?
Here.
Ms. Snodgrass?
Here.
Ms. Wiedemann?
Here. Dr. McKay is out for a personal matter. The next item of the agenda is for our official minutes. I will accept a motion to approve the official minutes from the January 5th, 2023 regular public board meeting.
Feinberg moved.
Larson second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. The second section of our agenda is a report from students. Tonight from Haverford Middle School, we have Liam Pinder.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Liam Pinder, and I'm one of the middle school student representatives. Before we start, I would like to thank the board for allowing me to present. A Student Wellness Day was held on January 13th. Students self-selected their preferred teacher-led activities. There were numerous enjoyable activities, including artistic, physical, competitive, and musical ones. I participated in chess, dodgeball, and a few others. The end of the second marking period is rapidly approaching as the school year flies by. The second marking period concludes on January 27th. We will host the second annual Middle School Hope Classic basketball game against Welsh Valley Middle School on January 25th. The purpose of this game is to support one of our kids and their family, as well as raise awareness of Angelman syndrome. On February 3rd, rising ninth graders interested in participating in a high school sport are welcome to attend the Haverford High School Sports Interest Day. The students will visit the high school and meet with the athletic director, coaches, and student athletes. One of our pupils has begun a sock and glove drive for the less fortunate. Together with Philly Socks, Gloves, and Love, they are collecting and distributing new gloves and socks. Donations can be delivered to the office. Finally, we are anxiously awaiting the first significant snowfall. The Havertown Yeti has not been spotted in nearly a year, but we expect to see it after the first snowfall. Mr. Erin has issued a challenge to be photographed with the Havertown Yeti. We will post the photo and provide you with a prize. Finally, I would like to thank the board again for allowing me to present.
Thank you for your presentation. And from Haverford High School, we have Erin Coyle.
Good evening, and thank you for presenting me with this opportunity to speak. My name is Erin Coyle, and I am currently a junior at the high school. The winter weather is not what it's been in past years, and I, too, am still waiting for that first snowfall to come. As we approach the end of the semester, the school weeks get longier as we try to fit in last-minute tests and content to prepare us for our final exams. Last week, Tuesday through Friday, the first semester keystones took place at the high school for the biology, English 10, and Algebra 1 students. Those students put forth their best effort to display the knowledge that they have learned thus far this year. The other students who were not partaking in the testing were able to come in 3 hours later and get a bit more sleep, which was so nice. Classes ran to be 40 minutes each. This made me realize how much I love block scheduling and wonder how we ever learned so much content in the middle school. Winter sports are doing better than ever and dominating the Central League. The high school track stars continue week after week to create new personal bests and break school records. Similar to the track team, our swim and dive teams are putting in diligent work day in and day out and seeing it pay off in their amazingly fast times and graceful dives. Our girls basketball team remains undefeated and will continue to dominate. Our boys basketball team has a record of 7-6 and has 7 games remaining this month, 1 taking place tonight. Our hockey team had their senior night last week and defeated Lower Merion 7-3. Overall, Haverford's winter sports are not only displaying talent and dedication, but also sportsmanship as they work through their seasons and take on tough battles. The Winter Jazz and Band concert took place last night at the high school, which marks the end of the winter concert season. This makes us all look forward to the concerts that are going to come in the spring. An electives fair took place this morning for all freshmen, sophomores, and juniors to display what courses are available for them next year. There was also a presentation to discuss what future planning should look like and how to create a schedule. I personally have an interest in staying in my comfort zone and taking med careers, but I also would like to try something new like taking woodshop for my senior year. Finals are just 1 week away. This semester has flown by and I'm sad to see some of my classes go. Teachers are currently wrapping up the content and doing their best to prepare their students for what is to come by going over everything they have learned so far. My teachers are presenting me with plenty of resources and review in order to ensure that I am relaxed and prepared both mentally and physically for what will be on my tests. I personally enjoy my review for AP Chemistry. I am shocked by how much chemistry we have learned in just 4 months. It feels nice to be able to connect so many topics and bring so many big ideas together to work through tough problems from all of my classes. Thank you for presenting me with this opportunity to speak and go forwards. I will see you all in the new semester.
Thank you. And the next section of our agenda is for the superintendent's report. Dr. Rushi.
Thank you, Ms. Wiedemann. I'm going to go a little bit out of order since we have wonderful entertainers here for us this evening, and ask Mrs. McGilvery to introduce the students from Lynnewood Elementary who are here to celebrate with us tonight.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Ms. Wiedemann, members of the school board, Dr. Rushi, all of our parents. We have so many Lynnewood parents here tonight, and members of our school community. My name is Jillian McGilvery. I'm the proud principal of Lynnewood Elementary School. We have some wonderful teachers and extra special students here with us tonight to showcase music and the arts at Lynnewood. But first, in the month of January, it is School Board Appreciation Month, and we wanted to thank the school board representatives for the time and the energy you put into your roles and your responsibilities here. We have some handmade thank you notes for you up there on your desk. So thank you for everything that you do for our school district. We very much appreciate the work that you put in. We also want to give a shout out to one of our Lynnewood Lion alums over there presenting, Erin Coyle. It's awesome to see you in this role. We remember Erin as a Lynnewood Lion not too long ago, but here she is doing awesome things at the high school. Great job, Erin. We are proud of you. We have 2 special presentations tonight to share with you. And for those with elementary school aged kids, you must know how special the specials are at Lynnewood, or to all of our elementary school students. Art, music, gym, library, SEL, they are the favorite parts of the day for many of our students. And this evening, we're going to showcase music and the arts for you. We are missing the fabulous Mrs. Reyes, who is homesick tonight. But we are very, very lucky to have Haverford Middle School's Mrs. Langley come out to, thank you very much for stepping in for us tonight, Mrs. Langley. And 2 of our Lynnewood Lions are going to talk to you a little bit about the performances tonight. So please join me, Peyton and Morgan.
Hello, my name is Peyton Manfrey, and I'm a 5th grader at Lynnewood Elementary. I love singing, and chorus is so much fun. Mrs. Reyes is a great teacher. Our chorus practices once a week in the mornings before school. This evening, we are going to perform 2 songs for you.
Hello, my name is Morgan Wynn, and I'm also a 5th grader at Lynnewood Elementary. The first song we're singing today is It's in My Desk. This is a fun song, and the lyrics might make you smile. The second song is the Mountain Song. This song is a little bit more serious. We hope you enjoy.
Just to have a look around.
That was lovely, just lovely. And I can't believe your elementary grade. Mrs. Langley, you must be so excited knowing what is the talent that is coming to the middle school very soon. Yes, right? Very much. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah. Students, you were awesome. And now you're going to get a little sneak peek of something else. Would you like to come down here? It's going to take a little bit, but come down here to the carpet because we're going to show the screen and you will want to see what's next. We're so proud of them. They get up extra early, either on Tuesday or Thursday morning to come into Lynnewood. And these wonderful parents also get up extra early and drive them in too. So kudos to everybody for that. Yeah, you can wait right there. One of the favorite questions I love asking our Lynnewood Lions is like, oh, what special do you have today? Because you see their faces light up like, oh, today I have art, today I have library music. And it's such a special time. And students, you were so wonderful singing. We have lots of other little Lion siblings here in the audience too who might enjoy what's next. We are incredibly fortunate to have Sandy Sherbinko teaching art at Lynnewood. And if you've ever walked through the halls of Lynnewood and school board members, I know recently you've toured around, you are really, you're blown away, I think, by just the beautiful artwork that is hanging everywhere. If I'm having a very stressful day or if I'm working late into the afternoon and evening and I need a break, you guys don't even know this, but I just walk around and I get to enjoy your art. And it really, really helps me to reset and refocus. And it's just so special and wonderful. When we have new parents who are bringing a new student to Lynnewood and I give them a tour, I tell them to buy a lot of frames for their house because you're going to be decorating everything in there. Mrs. Sherbinko, she's going to give us a sneak peek into art at Lynnewood tonight. So here's Sandy Sherbinko from Lynnewood.
Hello. That's kind of hard to follow, but thank you, board, for having us. My name is Sandy Sherbinko, and I've been teaching at Lynnewood now for 30 years. I also happen to be a graduate of Haverford, 1987, which means I have been a part of Haverford arts and community for 50 plus years. So I am a firm believer, I know, thanks. I am a firm believer that art should be a process and should be seen. So instead of talking about it tonight, we made you a quick slideshow. If you would like to see more, please come by Lynnewood because it is everywhere in Lynnewood, and I do take parent volunteers, just so you know. So.
Sandy, that really was lovely, a collection of student work. And I just want to publicly comment on your ability to enable children to push limits and to do more than perhaps they thought they were capable of doing is so evident in the end results that they're able to produce when they work with you. How fortunate we are to have you here in the district, Sandy.
People a chance to exit before, okay. We will take this moment before proceeding with our business agenda to allow some of our young learners here to exit for the evening, and then we'll resume in just a moment. Unless you want to stay and talk about policies and budgets.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, that was so great.
Thank you for these, by the way. These were hard to follow. Thank you.
Don't let Sal leave. All right.
We're all like color coded. I mean, uniform kind of vibe going on here. That was
I always ask how that went. So I was just like,
what
are I wish.
No, last time I think we saw Chad, we were in the auditorium.
Really cleared out the room.
I did, like,
He's always tough acts, right, to follow.
I know, this is impressive. You gotta tell them, hey, you know?
Yeah, right, we up the game.
Yeah, up the
Let
game.
him know.
I need Biden first.
He'll be up to the challenge, I'm sure.
Mrs. McGilvery,
I don't know.
thank you for organizing.
My 14-year-old, she back at Shannon, she did girls in line. They didn't meet. It's like, oh, wow.
There are lots of things I missed, that's not one.
I was like, Dave. He wasn't good enough to stop.
Yeah.
Jillian, you might be the only one left.
We've
You might be the only one left.
We've totally cleared the room. I know there's some high school students looking to get their government meeting in, so they'll be able to come in and claim some of these now very empty seats.
I figured that, yeah.
Okay. Let them know there's plenty of empty seats in here now. Okay. Great. Come on in. All right, and Dr. Rishi, you can continue with your
finish with yes.
superintendent's remarks.
Sort of pales in comparison there.
Tough act
Just
to
a
follow.
reminder to members in the community, we started registration for the 23-24 school year. That process continues. There's lots of information on our website to register new students for the 23-24 school year. It was really exciting on Monday to have a chance to stop around at a few of the schools and look at some of the MLK Day service projects that were underway. And I really want to thank the PTOs who work with our building principals and staff to organize those service learning opportunities for our students. Erin mentioned the electives fair that was held at the high school today. Jen Sachs and I had a chance to stop by that for a little while. And what was a really neat takeaway for us was to see how excited the teachers were, like talking with you guys about the courses and what the students would experience in those courses. And there was also a great sense of pride in the wide variety of opportunities that our students have. You know, there's a course for just about anything that you want to learn there. Is sort of how I felt walking out. And that concludes my announcements for this evening. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The next section of our agenda is for public comment for items pertaining to tonight's agenda, and we had nobody sign up to speak. So item 5 of the agenda is a board committee report, and tonight's committee report is on finance and facilities from Dave Schwartz.
All right, thanks a lot. So first I'll go through some construction updates, pretty short tonight regarding that. Lynnewood is essentially closed. The budget had been closed. We're getting paperwork signed. I think we have one minor change order left, but other than that, it's essentially done. Same story with high school phase 1. That money has all been moved over to high school phase 2. Few items left on that. We have a permit that we have to get a chiller fence to install. Minor change order for testing of the HVAC system. Nothing much. That'll be on the, I believe it's on the agenda for this evening. For Chatham Park and Coopertown, the chillers are in, and it is winter. So they'll be sitting there for a while, but they'll be ready to go when spring comes and we actually need them again. Both projects are about 60% done. Adding in some pipes to have to do some testing. It should be all completed by fall. The Coopertown roof, phase 2 is scheduled to be installed this summer. There was one minor addition to the budget, to the cost, which is already included in the budget. So that is going to be happening. Other than that, there are no additional facilities reports right now. At the meeting, Ms. Q also gave a very good presentation on the budget. One thing that will be on the agenda for this evening is regarding Act 1. Act 1, for anybody who doesn't know, 2006, the Pennsylvania State Legislature passed a bill that capped the amount that school boards could raise taxes. Each year there's a certain percent that we can't raise taxes above. Last year it was 3.4%. We actually had a tax rate of lower than the Act 1 index, which is great. This year the Act 1 index is 4.1%. And kind of gradually increasing over the years. The formula for it is very, very complex. There are a couple of exceptions that can be made to raise taxes more than that. We meet none of them. So the only, so really what we're being asked to do tonight is to pass an Act 1 opt-out resolution, basically saying that we will not raise taxes more than 4%, because we don't meet any of the exceptions to do so. So we're being asked to vote on that this evening. A couple other things that Ms. Q went over. She gave her standard stump speech with revenues. Now I'll go over some of the highlights. Pennsylvania is ranked 43rd in states from percent of revenue from state sources. The majority of our funding sources comes from local. We are 5th in the country in the amount of education funding that comes from local sources. Haverford Township, 91% of our tax revenue comes from residential property in the township. We are 2nd in the county and 2nd in the state. Unlike places like Radnor, we don't have office buildings. We don't have Main Street media. We don't have Suburban Square. We have some very nice commercial core areas, but nothing compared to that. So the majority of our taxes do come from local sources. And for Haverford, as part of our overall budget, 81% comes from residences, including the 9 of us sitting up here. So. The overall budget breakdown, I just want to go over that briefly, just to kind of explain where we are. If you want to, on board docs, there is a great little pie chart that Martha put together that breaks down where our budget goes to. 46% of our budget goes to salaries, and 28% goes to benefits. So about 3/4 of our budget is for our staff and for the unfunded pension. Another 10% comes from interest payments and such for our debt service. Leaves us about 15-16% of the budget left. Now, some of those sometimes called discretionary cost. I'll put that into quotes because it includes things like utilities, supplies, capital improvements, tuition in some cases for our district placement. So a lot of that is purchase services, supplies, and equipment, and then less than 1% goes into our budgetary reserve. So there's not a great deal of wiggle room in our budget. A lot of those costs that are in there are fixed, and they're mobile, but that's kind of where we are with the budget. All this is public information. You can go onto Board Docs and check it out yourself if you want to. A couple of upcoming things, just give you a heads up. Like I said, the Act 1 resolution we presented this evening for board consideration. In February, we'll have some early budget information. In March, we'll get some further. In March and April, we'll get some further info. On April 20th, we'll have a proposed final budget presentation. On May 4th, we'll have board action on that. We'll have some more presentations in May and June, and finally, we'll have our final board action about June 15th for the budget for next fiscal year. And with that, I believe that's it.
All right, thank you. Section 6 of our agenda is for finance and facilities matters. Item A is the bill list. I welcome a motion to approve disbursements from the general fund totaling $2,362,287.87.
Schwartz moved.
King second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Bill list is approved. Item B is the accelerated budget opt-out resolution. I will accept a motion to approve the accelerated budget opt-out resolution certifying that the tax rate will be within Act 1 index for the 2023 to 24 school year.
Feinberg moved.
Vitale second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Just for clarity, I'll read a little bit of the background information that's included in the agenda. Again, this resolution limits the district's ability to raise taxes to the current Act 1 index for the 23-24 school year. The Act 1 index is set at 4.1%, so this would be the maximum amount of possible increase. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution is approved. Item C is a consulting services agreement. I will accept a motion to approve the proposal by Mark J. Sobeck Roof Consulting, Inc. to provide roof consulting services for Coopertown Elementary Roofing Project Phase 2 at a cost not to exceed $30,120.
Crispin move.
Schwartz second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Just for clarity, this is the added cost I mentioned. It's as part of the Coopertown Roof Phase 2. It does not change the overall budget. We are still within our budget quote for that project.
And the same firm has provided the similar roof inspection services at other projects recently.
Yeah, yes.
Any other discussion or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item D is a consulting recommendation. I will accept a motion for the recommendation of Project Owners Representative CB Development Services, Inc. to approve the proposed HVAC commissioning contracts to the Stonehouse Group on the climate control projects at Coopertown Elementary School, Chatham Park Elementary School, and Haverford High School.
Crispin move. Larson second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? This was also discussed at the Finance and Facilities Committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item E is Cisco Meraki wireless renewal. I accept a motion to approve the financing agreement for the licensing and support with Cisco Meraki for a total amount of $158,471.28 paid over 5 years at $31,694.26 annually.
Feinberg moved.
Vitale second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Could someone just speak to the services that this wireless system is providing?
It's actually the maintenance and upkeep of the wireless devices that are all throughout the buildings.
Throughout the district, right? And it's the system that we have is at the end of its life, and this was to upgrade and replace the service. Is that correct? Or
No, this is the maintenance service for it. I'm looking for some.
okay, just maintenance. All right. Any other comments or discussion? All in favor of the Cisco renewal?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Section 7 of our agenda is for human resources. Item A is for retirements. I'll accept a motion to accept the following retirements as listed.
King moved.
Crispin, second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Two retirees with a lot of service to the district, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your long service to the district. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item B is for non-acceptance of appointment. I will accept a motion to approve the following non-acceptance of an appointment.
Crispin, move.
Schwartz, second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. C is for appointments. I will accept a motion to accept the following appointments as listed below, contingent upon receipt of all necessary clearances, including Act 168 of 2014.
Person moved.
Weinberg, second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The appointments are approved. Item D is for leave of absence. I will accept a motion to approve the following leave requests.
Crispin, move. Person, second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. Item E is for an employment agreement. I will accept a motion to approve the employment agreement for the position of superintendent between Maureen Rushi, Doctor of Education, and the School District of Haverford Township, commencing on July 1st, 2023, and ending at the close of business on June 30th, 2028, for the salary of $265,000.
Weinberg, move.
Schwartz, second.
Moved and erased for second. Any discussion?
Just glad to hear Dr. Rushi. We back again. Thank you very much. A lot of what we do at the school board is some of it is kind of pro forma, approving some of these appointments and so forth. Some of it is oversight. We're an oversight board. We don't get a lot of nuts and bolts. We set policy, review things, review budgets, and so forth. I think the biggest job, or one of the most important jobs that we do, is get a superintendent and retain a superintendent. And obviously, somebody who does captain the ship. And we've had rough waters over the past 4 years, obviously, and during that time, built a school, expanded another, and made major improvements on 2 more. Oh, and installed the field. And all of them came in on time and under budget. That is not by accident. That does not happen by accident. If things went sideways, the buck would stop right down there, then the table. So glad to have you back. And just on another note, thrilled to have a contract in place. It was negotiation. There's some give and take, but we want to be a place to be. We want to be a desirable location for both teachers and for administrative staff. And I think Haverford School District is doing that. We want to pay people fairly, and this is not a 40-hour-a-week job. I don't believe you've worked less than 50 probably since I started here. Probably more like 80 during certain COVID times. So glad to have you back. Thanks a lot.
I just wanted to note as well, so looking at the length of the contract, it's a 5-year contract, and I believe that's the maximum that we can have a superintendent's contract for in the state of Pennsylvania. So I'm thrilled that you're willing to, continue working with us for the maximum allowed time. Looking forward to continuing our collaboration.
Thank you.
Dr. Rushi has been a steady, exceptional administrator throughout my board tenure. And in addition to the administrative stuff, the really important thing is that she's here with a focus on the kids. And that comes through every day. So thank you. It's great that you're going to be with the district for another few years.
Good to be here.
I'll just throw my really quick echo in that happy to have worked with you over the last few years and really look forward to continuing our work together. So thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, I can add my appreciation, Dr. Rushi, for your leadership these past 8 years, and in particular, your guidance in some recent tumultuous times. Your steady leadership has been appreciated not just by the board, but throughout the district and the community. We are so fortunate to have your experience and long tenure. I will note that in Pennsylvania, there are 500 school districts, and in the last year, roughly 1 in 5, about 100 districts, were going through a leadership change. And we are so fortunate to have your long tenure. The superintendent's position is a difficult one. She is essentially the CEO of our district operations. You heard a little bit about the budget. This year it's a $138 million budget. There's a staff of nearly 1,000 students of over 6,600, 7 buildings and maintenance buildings and others. It is a large and complicated operation. Not only does she focus on students and student learning, she's responsible for that vision and goals, but also held to accountability and meeting those performance targets and that evaluation. In addition to, as noted, the board's very important role in hiring and retaining a superintendent is evaluating on an annual basis, kind of by school code, that's something that we do. And this board and prior boards have consistently rated Dr. Rushi's performance highly. Noting, of course, there's always areas to improve, but there are so many areas which fall under your set of responsibilities. Our evaluations looks at her use of data to identify goals and objectives and to promote improvement in student progress, academic growth, and achievement. She also works with the board on policies and procedures that have implications on the daily function of everything that the district does. She leads the district's administration in all functions, whether that's operations, personnel, fiscal, technology, transportation. She represents the district in external ways with other school districts at the state level, county level, and represents us so well in those capacities. She is a chief point of communication in the community, and she also is involved in budget and curriculum and facilities plans and needs and the list is long, and those snow days that the students are hoping for are also under her purview. So again, I just wanted to say that this contract is one way that we can recognize and show our appreciation for your continued service and leadership, and we look forward to another 5 years of working together.
How many years so far, by the way? What are we on now? We're on year 8? All right.
Anything else to comment on the employment agreement? Hearing none, the motion is to approve Dr. Rushi's employment agreement. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The agreement is approved. Dr. Rushi?
Thank you very much, Ms. Wiedemann. I consider myself most fortunate to work for and with such a dedicated group of board members that I've had the pleasure of getting to know over these last few years. It has been an honor to serve alongside such a motivated and intelligent team of administrators across the district, and all staff members who regularly demonstrate their care for children. It really is a privilege for me to work in this community for the last 8 years. It's the community in which I was raised. It is the community in which my husband and I raised our daughters for a period of time. And it's a community that was home to my parents for 50 years. It means a lot to me to be here in this role. I thank you for providing me the opportunity to continue to serve the community of the School District of Haverford Township, and I pledge to you that I will do so proudly, diligently, and will always keep the needs of children first and foremost in our decision-making process. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that needs a clap. All right, the next section of our agenda is for pupil services. Item A is a professional services agreement. I will accept a motion to approve the following professional services agreement as listed.
So moved. Kristen, second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 9 of the agenda is for curriculum and instruction. Item A is student educational excursions. I will welcome a motion to approve the following student educational excursions as listed below.
Feinberg moved.
Schwartz, second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Can't believe we're talking about Camp Canadensis already.
Yep, the Gold Team to Canadensis, the high school chorus. One student is going to attend the All Eastern Chorus, and the high school Future Business Leaders Club will send 13 students to a state leadership conference in Hershey. Good stuff.
I was thrilled to see the Gold Team listed because when we approved Canadensis, what was it, the last meeting for the 6th graders, Gold Team was not on there, and I have an 8th grader who is part of Gold Team, and when I said, I'm not sure if you're going, he wildly freaked out. So when I saw the agenda this week, he was thrilled, almost as thrilled as trying to find the Yeti that I've heard about. For the prize you're offering, I might try to find and take a picture as well. But very thrilled that we're able to provide this experience for the students.
All right, it's a great tradition to continue. All in favor of the excursions?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. Section 10 of our agenda is on policy matters, and we have 4 policies back for a second reading tonight. Policy 204 is attendance, so I will accept a motion to accept the second reading of policy 204, attendance.
It's been moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah,
I just automatically look at you.
Yeah, no, just briefly. This is our second reading of policy 204, attendance. So the first reading was at our last general board meeting, and before that it was in the policy committee. There were several changes made at the policy committee level between what was the policy as of 2010 and what we have in front of us here. So I don't think that any changes were made between the last reading and this reading, but it's not your last shot. If these are also available on board docs, so we can have public comment on them, and if the board members have any comments between this reading and the next one, we can implement those. So this is going to come back for I guess a final vote at our next meeting, and this one is about attendance.
My only minor suggestion would be to remove the 3rd blank page. Seems like a formatting issue. So it reads page 1 of 2, 2 of 2.
Leave room for those more legal sites. Add more.
Right. Yep.
That makes sense.
This and a couple of the policies are times to point out that there is a lot of our policy that is kind of prescribed by the Pennsylvania School Code, and enrollment and attendance matters are included in that category. This policy basically sets the compulsory school age students and defines that from the time that the child enters school, either for kindergarten or at the age of 6 up until 18 years. And we're just complying with what
Right.
is required by the state law.
And you can see that by the fact that our policy is 3 paragraphs and the citations to the school code is, because I don't know how many lines are on a page, but it's every
Like
single line on
30,
the second
yeah.
page. Yeah, about 30. So, it is obviously mostly coming from the school code. But nonetheless, I think it's important that our policies reflect the actual practice of the district, which includes incorporating the current state of the law. And there's also an administrative regulation with our policy 204 attendance. And this one I think is really helpful because it starts off with definitions. And so it is a long regulation. There's a lot to go through, but obviously attendance is something that should be readily transparent and understandable to anyone who is looking to find out what the policy is and what the guidance is from the district. So I think the first almost 2 pages are just definitions, and then from there it goes through what compulsory school attendance requirements are, checking how to check attendance, what truancy is, general attendance, what absences are excused, policy notifications, when there are continued, unexcused absences, so it is very detailed, and, that is on purpose, right, so that, everyone in the district understands, what it means to, what the policy is around attendance.
Just a comment, as I'm looking at the AR on page 2, is the font size and or style intentional with the changes? Is it just my screen?
No.
Okay.
And it's a function, I think, some of these, like the extra page is a function of board docs.
Okay.
Which is really, it's helpful for us to communicate with our solicitor, through board docs and to make changes in it. But it does have some limitations like that, so, yeah, I guess I would just say to make sure that, and then I know this
On
one.
the final.
On the final, just to make sure that it is consistent, yeah.
And then going back to the policy document for a moment, the citations on page 2, it looks like they start out enumerated, but then the numbers drop off at 8, and then the legal citations are just listed out. So either, we should decide if we're either gonna number them or not number them for consistency. And then, I'm not sure if there's a way looking down the lower citations that aren't hyperlinked, like the PA code ones, if there's a way to hyperlink there as well.
So the numbers correspond with the footnotes. And so, I guess I'm not sure if every single one falls under footnote 8, or if you want to have 30
It just needs
footnotes.
to be more clear, so that could be like a formatting, that whole column
Yeah.
would just shift over to be under 8, because it's just not clear from the way it's currently.
Yeah, and I agree on the hyperlinks. It would be great to hyperlink everything that we can.
Any other comments on this policy 204?
Sorry, I just want to clarify compulsory school age on page 1. So the end of that paragraph there in the policy says the term shall not include any student who holds a certificate of graduation from a regular accredited senior high school. So that's related to age 18. So is that like for a student who graduates early, like 16, 17-ish? Doogie Howser? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, the compulsory attendance ends if a student has successfully completed high school.
Got it, okay.
And so would that also apply a case where a student completed high school elsewhere, moved into our district and said, you give high school up until age 18 or more, right? So they'd say.
And that's where our other policy actually makes sense, the one.
Right, the postgraduate one.
Postgraduate.
Yep. All right, any other discussions or comments on the second reading of policy 204? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. Item B is policy 205 on postgraduate students. I will accept a motion to accept the second reading of policy 205 postgraduate students.
Larson moved?
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this brief policy?
Yes, I will just give a brief background. This is our second reading, so I think I mentioned this last time. This policy was last adopted and revised in 2010. It was much more convoluted than you would think it would be for being about postgraduate students for whom we don't offer any services. So instead of getting rid of the policy, I think we just make it clear that the district does not offer services to postgraduate students. And I think, again, we have like the enumeration of the legal citations. And since there are no footnotes in this one, we could probably just not have them enumerated. That would make sense.
I like this 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Any other comments or discussion on this policy? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item C is policy 208, withdrawal from school. I will accept a motion to accept the second reading of policy 208, withdrawal from school.
It's been moved.
King, second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Sure. This one, again, this is a second reading, so we did go over this one last time, and it was reviewed at the policy committee. Again, it's pretty straightforward. One of the comments that we discussed at the policy committee meeting was making sure that up front, it was made clear that the procedures would involve the consent and working with the parent or guardian. So that was then put into the policy, and that's what we have in front of us. And I don't believe that there were any changes made between last reading and this reading.
Was there an AR to go with this one?
No.
There's not. Any other comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Second reading is approved. Our fourth and final policy tonight is policy 918. I will accept a motion to accept the second reading of policy 918, Title I, Parental, Guardian, and Family Member Engagement.
Larson moved.
Snodgrass second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Sure. I have, this actually did have a change to it. There was a use of the word engagement and involvement sort of interchangeably. So our solicitor went back and looked at the federal policy that this policy for our district comes from, and to be consistent with the federal policies and the federal statutes, we have basically replaced the word involvement with engagement everywhere, because that's what the federal government uses. I think, you know, there might be some sort of connotation that there might be something negative meant by engagement, but I can assure everyone that there is nothing negative meant by the word engagement in this policy or by the district. This is just trying to parrot what comes from the federal government and the language that they use. Again, to just be, you know, very clear that it's tied to the federal government. So that should be used throughout now. Then there's not, you know, any sort of confusion about whether involvement is different from engagement or anything like that. I don't think any other changes were made to this. The policy itself has definitions of parent, guardian, and family, and parent, school parent and family compact, which are then both used throughout the policy, and the ARs, and I think it's the ARs that are, again, fairly detailed in what that sort of the parent and guardian and family engagement means, and how that's implemented by the district.
And just to clarify, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, the ARs for Title I are around this topic. I mean, this is pretty much coming from Title I like statute, right?
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is why we thought it was important to really just use the language from the statute instead of, you know, trying to paraphrase or use other synonyms, because we just want to be clear that this is coming from federal law, so.
All right, any other comments or discussion? All in favor of this policy 918 second reading?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. Section 12 of our agenda is a time for public comment on items that were not on tonight's agenda. The board values public comment as an essential component of school governance that adds information for the deliberation of the important and complex matters that come before the board. It is an opportunity for members of the community to address the board regarding topics that the board may vote on. While we conduct business in open public meetings according to the Sunshine Act, it is not a meeting with the public, nor is it a question and answer session. There was a prior section of our agenda for comments pertaining to agenda items. This is for the time of other school-related matters. The agenda is published on the school board's website under board docs. I will remind you that tonight we are engaging in this very local democratic process. While the board welcomes comments and critique and should be held accountable to fulfilling our duties as the elected and volunteer governing body for the school district, I ask us all to remember that we, each of us on the board and who come tonight to observe or to speak, that we are all neighbors, that we all have good intent and act with care and concern for our schools and community. We ask that commenters refrain from personal attacks on board members, school officials, or other members of the public. Let us all take this opportunity to model good government for the citizens we hope our students will become. Residents of the township may, in advance of the meeting, sign up to make a public comment by emailing publiccomment@haverfordsd.net. In order to give everyone an equal opportunity to speak and per our board policy, you will have 3 minutes to address the board. At the 3-minute point, a timer will sound and you will be asked to conclude your remarks. Please begin your comments by stating your name and confirming your residency in Haverford Township. If you have materials to distribute, please leave them at the end of the board table. Your name and the topic of your comments will be recorded in the meeting minutes, and your presentation is being broadcast and recorded as part of our meeting. If appropriate, an administrator will follow up with speakers to discuss the matters raised. We had 2 people sign up for this portion of public comment, and the first is Meredith Mercantante.
Hi, good evening. My name is Meredith Mercatante. I am a resident of Haverford Township. I had reached out a few months ago regarding my concerns about the level of education and direction my elementary age children are receiving at Haverford Elementary School. After 2 years of modified academics due to COVID, I was hoping for a return to normalcy this year. My kids are approaching the end of their time in elementary school, and I was expecting this year would prepare them for the added responsibilities that middle school will bring. Unfortunately, I was surprised to learn that homework is not a part of this preparation this year. I was told by multiple teachers that the district policy is to not give homework at certain grade levels, and that as a parent, I could choose to have my child do the optional work provided, but it is not required. Optional homework is not equitable and does not work to motivate students. It creates resentment at home when parents try to enforce this without the support and expectations from the district. I learned that the justification for eliminating homework is because families don't have time for homework and that not every child has an adult at home to help them. Upon learning this, I went to look up the homework policy provided by the district. Policy number 130 specifically addresses homework at all grade levels and explains the value of it. This leads me to believe that the district does in fact value the importance of homework and is in direct violation of this policy. According to the National Center for Education, 95% of all elementary school students do homework outside of school. So why are Haverford School District students in the bottom 5% that do not? Homework is a great way to practice and reinforce skills learned in school. It allows students to learn the importance of responsibility and independence while obtaining a sense of accomplishment. The district paused the distribution of homework in 2020 due to COVID. I don't think any parent would argue that at that time that was the best decision to be made. But time has passed and homework has not still been reinstated. Many neighboring districts like Lower Merion, Rose Tree Media, TE, and Unionville provide age-based homework for their students, and some districts never stopped giving homework even during COVID. Our students have lost so much over the past 2.5 years and are academically behind. The PSSA test scores show that 40% of students are at a basic or below basic level in math. As a district, I would expect that every resource would be used to ensure students are learning to their highest capabilities. Homework is an integral tool in supporting study and organizational skills, practicing newly acquired skills, and connecting what was learned in the classroom to real-world situations. Why is the district not moving forward with homework at the elementary level? Additional justification and explanation is due to parents in this district. Thank you.
She was a resident. She did, okay. The next speaker is Peter Oraszewski.
Hi, my name is Peter Oraszewski. I live at 2117 Haverford Road in Ardmore. I've been coaching youth sports in the area for 40 years and in the wrestling room at the high school for 25 years. I like the elementary school singing tonight because those are the kids that we teach wrestling in the township. We are members of the Intercounty Wrestling League, made up of the school districts of southeastern Pennsylvania, the counties of Delaware, Montgomery, Chester, parts of Berks, Bucks, and northern Delaware, the state of Delaware. We applied for permits with the school. First of all, I'd like to thank the school district for the support that they've given our organization, a nonprofit teaching organization, for the many years of support that they've given us and the use of facilities at the middle school and high school over the years. We apply for permits in the summertime, and by September we get permits for holding home meets at the high school and a tournament that we hold annually, which is actually renowned in our area as being one of the only true novice tournaments in southeastern Pennsylvania. We're pretty famous and proud of that. Long story short, we had a permit for this Saturday. 260 wrestlers from the school districts of Methacton, Upper Darby, Haverford, and Wilmington, Delaware, were scheduled to wrestle at the high school this Saturday. Our permit was revoked. I'm not here. I'm a coach. I do it because I love the kids. My kids graduated Haverford High School 10 years ago. So I do it because I love the kids. I've been coaching 40 years. Long story short, I'm here because this has never happened before. Haverford youth wrestling is known primarily for a couple of things, of which I'm most proud: sportsmanship and for our reliability in our novice tournament. Many school districts in the area look to us for guidance at times when there's a change in coaching, a change in staffing. They look to our program as a model for the youth programs in the area. So 260 wrestlers were supposed to be here on Saturday, and we were scrambling to find other places. Methacton went to Norristown, luckily the school district, I'm talking school districts, the school district of Upper Darby rescheduled basketball games so that we could use the middle school gym in Drexel Hill. However, Methacton, again, with 100 wrestlers, is not coming. We have Wilmington coming, and of course Upper Darby wrestlers. So we will have 130 wrestlers in the Drexel Hill Middle School this Saturday. So again, I just wanted to make it aware to the school board that this happened to us. It's never happened before, as far as I know.
Thank you. Your time is up.
Thank you.
There's a lot of wrestlers.
Great. Dr. Rushi, I will ask you and your staff as appropriate to follow up on the homework matters and the scheduling conflict. The next item on our agenda is a report on executive session. Oh, did I skip board reports is next? Sorry. Okay, so board reports. I read my agenda wrong. We'll start with Mr. Schwartz.
Okay. Thank you. Well, first of all, we often get little trinkets for board appreciation, but this is be hard to top. Love these little notes here. These are just awesome. Look forward to reading them all when I get home. A couple of notes of activities over the past couple of weeks. I attended a Coopertown PTO meeting with Ms. Wiedemann and Dr. McKay and Dr. Rushi, of course. The other week had a lively discussion about the role of PTOs and with the school district. Remind everybody that PTOs are a great way to, those meetings are a good way to get some Q&A with board members and everything. We're happy to answer questions at all of those events. Also, PSBA Advocacy Day in the Hills coming up on April 18th. So if anybody wants to attend that, let me know. Registration is open. One thing that's new this year, not to put her on the spot, but Erin, in case you're interested, they are allowing, I believe, for the first time, student school board reps in Harrisburg to go out there and meet legislatures if that's of interest to you or any of our other students. I think that would be a fun thing to bring them out there. So again, give me a heads up. It's a long way away, but figure I'd let everybody know that we're looking to get people signed up for that event on the 18th.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you to the Lynnewood students that were here. I wish we could have told them thank you while they were sitting here. But seeing them being excited about doing something that they love, to me, speaks to that rounded global citizen that we're hoping to develop here in our district. It also speaks to the amazing teachers and staff and resources, allowing them to seek something that they truly, truly enjoy. And so when I see them in chorus or I see them with the arts, it's a reminder that outside of what they are learning in academics, they're also learning other things about themselves, which is going to go with them for very far. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, I had inside scoop that this was happening because my kiddo came home yesterday and was like, "You're never gonna believe what you guys are getting." So these are really special. It really made my day, and the students did such an amazing job. Please send our thanks. And I know the SEL teachers had a lot to do with this, so give them our thanks. And I wanted to say to Mrs. Shervinko, her Canvas site is amazing. It's such a good Canvas site. I can tell she's invested a lot of time in it. We spend a lot of time on that Canvas site learning about different artists. And I've learned a lot about Matisse and the Fauvism movement from my first grader who was teaching me about Matisse because of her class. And we're going to go see the Matisse exhibit at the Art Museum because of her class. So it's really remarkable what all of our teachers are able to do, from our youngest learners all the way up through the high school. It really is amazing. So thank you so much. The other thing I wanted to say, the newsletter came out the other day with just all the different things that our schools and our students and our parent volunteers and PTO and everything did for a day of service on Monday. And it was really wonderful to see how our schools and our kids and parents, guardians, everybody got involved to give back to the community. So thank you to everybody who participated in any of those events. So thank you.
Thank you. I'll go down to Dr. Larson.
Yeah, just wanted to echo what others have said in terms of thanking the Lynnewood community, students, parents, Mrs. McGilvery, the teachers for just the fabulous presentation. I always get excited when we come down the stairs and like there's students around here, so I feel that energy. And as Dr. King said, it's like just to see our mission statement and our work like in action is incredibly rewarding, and it looks like the kids had a great time too. Also, I am so excited to go home and read this. That will be the first thing I do when I get home. So yeah, just a lot of gratitude tonight. Thank you.
I'm just going to jump aboard what a lot of people have already said. Thank you so much, Mrs. McGilvery. Please thank Mrs. Reyes and Mrs. Shervinko, and what they do at the school is amazing. I am lucky to be able to help. I'm one of my son's art room helpers, and as I believe I told Mrs. Shervinko this week, she's the patience of a saint. She's amazing with the kids and the work that they are doing. I remember just being amazed when my oldest was there, what he would come back with, and seeing it now being in the room. She is amazing with the kids, and the works that are in the hallway are, I mean, I think I had stick figures when I was in elementary school. Some of the works are amazing, and we're so lucky to have such wonderful teachers at Lynnewood. So please extend my thanks.
Mr. Feinberg.
On the legislative side, it's turning out to be a year like no other. We still don't have things settled in the State House. Governor was inaugurated yesterday, and today the Senate adjourned until February 27th. We still don't know who's on any committees in the House. There's a small working group of, I think, 6 House members, bipartisan, that are working with Speaker Rozzi on trying to come up with a set of rules for the House. And my understanding is that no other business will be conducted in the House until those folks come up with a proposed set of rules and get approval from the House for those rules to proceed. So there's people say that no one is safe while the legislature is in session. And for folks who subscribe to that, things are looking pretty good right now.
All right, Ms. Snodgrass.
Sure. Yes, I will also say thank you to this. I too got a preview of what was to come. I appreciate that my name is spelled correctly on all of these. And they had a tiny helper helping folks spell my name. So thank you for that. I'm really excited to read them. That was what a nice gesture. So thank you. Yeah, I think my favorite thing, certainly one of my favorite things about being on the board is to see all of our different schools in action. It's just such a joy to come in the room and have it be completely lit up. By how excited the students are to share with us what they do during the day and what their passions are. And that just couldn't be possible without our wonderful staff. So just a lot of gratitude. And then likewise, I know that the PTO does so much. We are on our PTO tour. Multiple board members are, giving reports about we're visiting the PTO. They, like us, are volunteers, and they're doing this out of the goodness of their hearts. And I think they're always looking for more volunteers. So, reach out to your PTO and see how you can help, because we greatly appreciate, they're a different organization from us, but they obviously support our schools and care about them as much as we do. So, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Lynnewood set a high bar, but we look forward to having all of our schools rotate through and share some of their student accomplishments and activities with us throughout the year. I was able to go to the PTO visits at Coopertown and Minoa over the last couple of weeks and had some really interesting, wide-ranging discussions. Part of what I do is share a little bit about, what the school board is, what our function is, and the different responsibilities that we have, and then open it up for some Q&A. And the topics ranged from kind of the communication policy and how PTOs can communicate with our students, to enrollment trends, facility projects, playground equipment, questions about how we've used the funding that we got from COVID to implement resources for addressing learning loss, and asking about ways that we can support parents in helping them learn about and talk to their teens about mental health issues. So good issues were raised, things that, we want to have that opportunity to hear from members of the community about what they're interested and concerned about, and be able to have some conversation there. I'll also note that we have conversations kind of more in depth on some of the agenda items that precede these meetings at the committee meetings. Those are other good opportunities to hear about the work, and those are maybe more of a workshop format. Decisions are not made. It's more of a discussion, chance to ask questions. There's a time for public comment at those sessions as well. Next week's Thursday night meeting is on curriculum and pupil services. The agenda is posted ahead of time. That's another way for members of the community to have input in and keep up on some of the work that the school district and board are working on. And I just wanted to end my remarks with one of the things I do, not necessarily as a board member, but as a Ford's supporter, is I've been going to a lot of girls' basketball games, and I'm hoping they still now are undefeated. They are on a good run. They've been fun to watch in person or on Haverford Sports Media. When I was over at the high school before this meeting, Greg DeCina, who's our athletic director, asked me to do a shout out to Haverford Sports Media, who not only is broadcasting like from our own gym and fields, but has taken the show on the road. I saw them at Ursinus College on Sunday broadcasting a girls basketball game, and tonight they are doing their very first swim meet. So they are covering all the bases, and it is a fun way for fans to connect from wherever they are and cheer on the Fords. So that concludes my remarks. Thank you, everybody. Now it is time for my report on executive session. The board met in executive session this evening to discuss matters related to school safety and to discuss pending litigation with counsel. The next regular public board meeting is scheduled to be held on February 2nd, 2023 at 7:30 p.m. in the boardroom of the Oakmont Administration Building. And with that, this evening's business is concluded, and I I will accept a motion to adjourn.
Christmas second.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.